the official announcement trailer for Destiny Rising, which is Destiny's mobile game, just came out, and it's pretty interesting to say the least. So I know I recently made a video, well, recently, within the last month, I made a video talking about how Destiny 2 is in trouble. By I mean Bungie, they were completely ruining their game. They were just locking stuff behind paywalls. They removed over 30% of their staff, and they were just running out of money, and that showed with the quality of their games, the quality of their responses to some things, and how much effort they put into trying to claw back at the audience to try and regain some of their player count. Like the past few months, Destiny hasn't been in a good spot. They've announced Bungie has announced a lot of stuff that players just don't want, and it's really been the same thing over and over again for the past few years now with Destiny, and players needed something new. I remember in my last video I made about Destiny, the developers were talking about how Destiny Payback was canceled and that was supposed to be Destiny 3, but instead of turning it into an actual Destiny 3 game for like the consoles and the computer, they put their development and their assets into a mobile game, which is where we are today with Destiny Rising. And it's pretty interesting. There's some good, some bad. I am cautiously optimistic because I'm not a mobile gamer myself, right? I think mobile games are just a very predatory trap for people to just spend thousands of dollars and thousands of hours on, and then nothing good comes of it, right? You know, I spend a little bit too much money on video games sometimes, if you know what I'm talking about. And I tend to play the same few video games, right? I'm a big MMO person. I'm a big first-person shooter person, which Destiny used to be the perfect game for me. It is the game I've played most in my entire life, Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and I've dumped hundreds and hundreds of dollars into that game. And, you know, I don't play it anymore, but my point is, people look for something like that when you hear the word Destiny. They look for a game you can come back to every single day and still have content to do. Now, the issue with Destiny 2 as of recently is that content was just the same thing over and over again. And so Destiny lost a lot of players, and this new Destiny Rising game, it hopefully is going to revolutionize some things about Destiny, but there are a few things I want to point out. So let me introduce to you one of my new scientific discoveries. Well, I certainly hope this is working, but I'm currently looking at my front monitor, and on the left of me is my recording software. Now, this is extremely scuffed, I will say that. I did look up the Destiny Rising trailer, and I have the official announcement trailer here by IGN on YouTube, and I'm going to record myself watching it. Now, I know this is super scuffed. I've never done anything like this before, but it works for the time being. I'm trying to basically just show you guys the trailer and also give a little bit of commentary above it, because as a person with over 2,000 hours in Destiny, I have some pretty valuable opinions, I'd think. Before we start watching this, however, I do want to notice, I want to say that I do notice the like to dislike ratio, and also there's two things actually in this still frame here. One, the like to dislike ratio, it's more disliked than liked, which makes sense. And then the second thing is NetEase Games. Now, NetEase Games is a Chinese company known for mobile games. Now, I can't remember exactly if I've played many NetEase mobile games, but it's pretty interesting because the open alpha, actually, let me say that for a little bit later. We'll get into that. All right, let's get this started. This is so scuffed. All right, Destiny Rising is developed and published by NetEase Games. The game and its characters, items, events are under license of Bungie Incorporated. Now, this is important because, again, this game isn't made by Bungie. That's what a lot of people are confused about. This isn't entirely Bungie's fault. Like, if this game is terrible, which I think it might be, it isn't entirely Bungie's fault, which is very important. And again, we'll get more into that later. We'll get more into who NetEase Games is, and we'll talk about it in a second. The Traveler. Another quick thing, I know I paused the video again for a second time in like 1 second, but in the bottom right hand corner, you can see early pre-alpha mobile in-game capture. That's also very important. It is an early pre-alpha mobile in-game capture, meaning everything you see in the video was captured on a mobile device. That's pretty important. Game looks really good. Game looks really, really good for a mobile game. A lot of cool armor, a parrot. It's a Shax. This is awesome. I'm going to say this now. This is like taking Destiny and adding a little bit more MMO flamboyancy to it. I really like this. I think this looks really, really good. Izanagi's Burden, by the way, it's that big black, blue, and white sniper on the left-hand side. Pretty cool. Hope it's not too loud. Okay, all right, let me just keep playing the video. Third person. Now, third person is only thing in the Destiny game where you are holding an objective of some sort. Either you're holding an objective, you're using like your super ability. So third person shooting is pretty interesting. And this next part is also pretty interesting. Watch this. Did you catch it? Let me rewind for you real quick. It's pretty cool. He switched, or the camera switched from third person to first person, which has never been a thing in Destiny, ever. I mean, it looks good. New ability there, that's pretty interesting. That's also never been in Destiny. That little red circle you saw for a split second there, hang on. That thing. That's never ever been in Destiny before. A little red circle that shows you where your grenade is going to be put at. Now, I'm assuming that it's just like a mobile game thing, which makes sense because a first person shooter mobile game, they're never the best with controls, but it's still pretty interesting. This part's really cool. Watch this. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Izanagi's Burden. Also a new like healing grenade, was pretty cool. This part is the part that's stirred up some pretty interesting controversy. Now, people are wondering why none of this is in Destiny 2. Now, just watch. A scythe. People have been asking for scythes with like a main character ability, like not just like a finisher move or some other like exterior weapon that you can pick up on the battlefield. People in Destiny have been asking for a specific character ability to include a scythe for years, myself included. And the fact that a warlock gets one before a hunter is pretty interesting. This next part's also pretty interesting. What the hell is that? I have no idea what I'm looking at. I mean, that's also the last very important part. The speaker is a female. Now, if you don't know who the speaker is, it's the person that, like, you know, that big white ball at the beginning of the video, that's called the Traveler. It's the being that gives the main character, the Guardian, the power to use your abilities. And the speaker is someone who speaks for the Traveler. Now, all throughout Destiny, the speaker has been male. We've never seen, never heard of, never heard from a different speaker. This looks like a combination between the speaker and Eris Morn, so it's pretty interesting.
It is time to embrace.
The game looks incredible. Destiny Rising. Boo, I'm back on full screen. So that was a pretty interesting trailer, and I really hope that the audio wasn't too bad for you guys. This is, again, my first time trying this, so I'm branching out with my creative freedom here. But pretty interesting. I must say a few positives real quick. The game looks incredible for a mobile game. It looks really good. It looks a lot like Destiny. I mean, of course, there's some different graphical fidelity things that don't quite look as good as Destiny. And in my opinion, the gunplay just doesn't sound as punchy and as effective and as fluid as Destiny does. But the game, it looks like Destiny. It has Destiny's bones, which is pretty important. So now I want to talk about NetEase. Now, NetEase is a Chinese mobile game company. All right, when I said that NetEase Games was an entirely mobile game company, I misspoke. So my apologies. They have made games like Once Human. They've made Naraka Blade Point. They've made Marvel Duel. They've made a ton of actually really popular console and PC games. So I don't know where I got that. I think I watched a video and it like engraved itself in my brain, but I don't know. I do believe that they have made a few mobile games, but I do know that they're a pretty big Chinese game developer company. Now, again, like this isn't Bungie. Like this game is not made by Bungie. It is licensed by Bungie. Like Bungie has given creative freedom to NetEase Games, but it's still going to be Destiny. Now, the really interesting part about the alpha, it is open this November. So the alpha is open this November, and it is only for United States and Canada, which is interesting because if you'll remember, NetEase Games is Chinese. So, I mean, that doesn't really have any significance. It's just, I thought it was pretty interesting. But other than that, I think Destiny Rising is going to be a pretty big hit with the community. Now, I, as a Destiny fan, will be trying to get my hands on this game pretty early. Now, I don't know if my puny little iPhone 11 is going to be able to handle anything close to that, and also I'm running out of storage. But we'll see. And hopefully this game can be like emulated onto the computer so I can give it like a thorough try and give it a good comparison, and then I'll make another video about that. Now for my personal thoughts, I don't know if this game is going to be entirely first-person shooter open world based like Destiny is, because it's a mobile game. Now, I have played many mobile games that are first-person shooter and open world. Those games are massive, and they're also extremely laggy, even on the best iPhones and best iPads. Like, take, for example, Warframe. Warframe Mobile came out pretty recently, within the past year, I believe so, and I tried downloading it the other day because I was interested in like trading, and the game ran terribly. I mean, I know I have a multi-year-old iPhone, but the game ran like crap, right? Because it's Warframe. Warframe is massive. It's open world, third person, first person shooter, whatever you want to call it, and it just didn't feel good. It felt clunky. It felt like super laggy. I got maybe 15-20 FPS. Which is my fear about Destiny Rising. Now, Warframe Mobile is a great game for managing things and trading because there are a lot of trading scenarios that happen in Warframe. But with Destiny, there's no trading. With Destiny, there's no menus you have to manage. There's no like ship progress. It's a lot less in-depth than Warframe is. So my question is, how is this going to become a Destiny game in a mobile game? And I think, unfortunately, this game is going to lean heavily into two different categories. One, MMO, which is like massively multiplayer online, which is what Destiny is. But two, a gacha game, which I don't want it to turn into. The gacha mobile game market on iPhones and like stuff like that is heavily oversaturated with games that are extremely predatory with their pricing. And Destiny is no stranger to predatory pricing. Destiny, you can buy a ton of stuff and then like it wastes a lot of your money. But it's primarily an issue with mobile games, and this is something I mentioned earlier in the video. My fear for Destiny Rising is that it will turn into a very oversaturated MMO gacha game where you have your list of guardians and like characters and, you know, like different lore bits that never existed in the Destiny franchise, and you have to pay money for loot boxes to unlock this like different tier, like this new exotic or this new legendary piece, and then you have to do all this stuff. But it's confusing because my opinions and my thoughts on this game, they contrast very heavily with what we're shown in the trailer. Because in the trailer, you can see it says like, you know, this game, like this trailer was captured in the game, right? This is like people playing and people experiencing cutscenes and stuff like that. And you can see people running around and shooting like first person shooter stuff and third person shooter as well. So you can't really do a gacha game like that. Like it's not an easy mixture to cook up in the kitchen. You know, that's no easy feat. Is it possible? Yeah, but is it in line with what we're used to with mobile games? Absolutely not. However, the game looks incredible and the gunplay isn't bad. I am also very worried about the controls because controls on mobile first-person shooter games are just awful. And then with Destiny, there's plenty of things you can do, plenty of abilities, plenty of things you can summon. It's going to be a mess, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. I would love to have a cool bite-sized Destiny that I can whip out from my pocket and start playing with. All right, let's just take a step back there. I'd like to have a little version of Destiny that I can play on my phone. I think that'd be awesome. If they can succeed with this, you know, more credit to them. That would be great. But I'd be wrong to say that I believe in this. Like, I'd be a liar if I said that I think this is going to be a good game. Like, I can't wrap my head around a company taking this massive franchise that is Destiny and funneling it all somehow into a mobile game format and actually succeeding. Does it have potential? Yes. Does it have my hopes? Not really. I'm extremely cautiously optimistic. I want to be surprised. I want to be wrong with this game. But yeah, that's about it. Stay safe.